What if I told you your credit score can drop, even when you pay your credit card in full? Imagine this. You avoided interest. You paid on time. You did everything right. You were responsible. And then you open your app and see it. Your credit score dropped 20, maybe 30 points. No missed payments. No collections. No new debt. Just a sudden drop. It feels unfair. It feels random. But it's not random. It's timing. Most people think the most important date on their credit card is the due date. That's the date we're trained to fear. That's the one printed in bold. Pay by this day, or you'll be charged interest. But the due date is not the date that controls your credit score. There's another date, a quiet one, a date most people ignore. The statement closing date. That is the date that actually matters. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your credit score is not watching your behavior in real time. It doesn't track how responsible you feel. It doesn't care that you paid everything off 5 days later. It judges you based on a snapshot. Once a month, your credit card company takes a picture of your balance and sends that number to the credit bureaus. That's what gets reported. That's what the scoring system sees. And that snapshot might be taken on your worst financial day of the month. Have you ever made a big purchase? Maybe a flight, a new appliance, an emergency expense, knowing you had the cash to pay it off. You felt fine. You were in control. Then a few weeks later, your credit score drops. You're not irresponsible. You just misunderstood the camera. Let's break it down with numbers. Say you have a credit card with a $5,000 limit. During the month, you spend $2,500. No big deal. You have the money sitting in your bank account. You plan to pay it off before the due date. But your statement closes on the 30th. On that day, your balance is $2,500. That means you're using 50% of your available credit. 50% utilization. Even if you pay it off completely on the 5th, the credit bureaus only saw the 50%. Your credit score doesn't care how you feel about your spending. It doesn't care about your intentions. It cares about what the snapshot shows. And here's where it gets important. Anything above 30% utilization is where your score starts losing points. Cross 50%? The drop gets steeper. Max out the card? That's when it really hurts. And here's something most people don't realize. Utilization is calculated 2 different ways. First, your overall utilization, all your credit cards combined. Second, individual card utilization, each card on its own. So even if you have $50,000 in total available credit across multiple cards, if one small card with a $500 limit is maxed out, that single card can hurt you. You could be financially stable overall, but one stressed-out card makes you look risky. Credit utilization alone makes up about 30% of your FICO score. Not 5%, not 10%, 30%. That's massive. Which means managing this one factor correctly can dramatically change your score without you spending less money or earning more money. It's purely about timing and percentage. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. A lot of people think the goal is zero. Zero balance must be perfect, right? Actually, no. If every single card reports a zero balance every single month, the system sees inactivity. The scoring model is designed to evaluate how you manage debt. If you never show any usage, there's nothing to measure. That's why people with the highest credit scores often report small balances, usually between 1 and 7% utilization. Not zero. Small. Controlled. Intentional. It signals that you use credit, but you manage it perfectly. So how do you use this information? Here's the 48-hour adjustment that changes everything. Step 1. Find your statement closing date, not your due date, your closing date. It's usually listed in your online account or on your statement. It might say something like, cycle ends March 30th. That is your snapshot day. Step 2. 2 to 3 days before that closing date, log in and check your current balance. Step 3. Manually pay down your balance so that only 1 to 5% of your credit limit remains. For example, if your balance is $1,000 and your limit is $1,000, you're at 100% utilization. You would pay $950, leaving $50. If your limit is $5,000 and your balance is $1,000, you'd pay enough to bring it down to maybe $50 or $100 before the statement closes. When the statement generates, it reports that small balance, not the larger one. That's the number the credit bureaus see. Then step 4. After the statement posts, you simply pay the remaining small balance before the due date. You pay 0 interest, but your report shows ideal utilization. Same spending, same habits, different timing, completely different score outcome. Now, a quick warning. There's something called credit cycling. That's when someone repeatedly maxes out a card, pays it down mid-month, then maxes it again, pushing far more money through the card than the credit limit suggests. Banks don't love that behavior. It can trigger account reviews or limit reductions. If you constantly have to make multiple mid-cycle payments just to function, it may be a sign that your credit limit is too low for your spending habits. In that case, the better move might be requesting a credit limit increase. Higher limits make it easier to keep utilization percentages low without micromanaging every purchase. Another important reality check: closing unused credit cards to simplify your life can actually hurt your score. Why? Because when you close a card, you reduce your total available credit. Let's say you have $10,000 total credit and $2,000 in balances. That's 20% utilization. If you close a card that had a $5,000 limit, now you only have $5,000 total credit. That same $2,000 balance becomes 40% utilization overnight. Same debt. Smaller denominator, higher percentage. The math changes, even though your spending didn't. So let's simplify everything. Your credit score is based on monthly snapshots. Those snapshots happen on your statement closing date. Utilization above 30% starts to hurt. Above 50% hurts more. 0 isn't necessarily optimal. Small usage is better. Pay your balance down 2 to 3 days before the closing date. Leave 1 to 5%. Then pay the rest by the due date. 2 payments. 0 interest. Maximum score optimization. You're not tricking the system. You're understanding it. And understanding it is what separates people who constantly feel confused about their credit score from people who control it intentionally. If this helped clarify something that's been frustrating you about credit scores, make sure you subscribe. I break down financial systems in simple terms, so you stop being surprised by how they work. And now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had your credit score drop even though you paid everything on time? How many points did it fall? Drop the number in the comments. Let's compare experiences and see how common this really is.